Good afternoon or morning, 8th grade Rogers Park students. I'm happy to welcome Mr. Davidson from the high school. He's here to speak to you guys today about next year's class stuff. So you're closer to being 9th graders than you are 8th graders. Today is the 100th day of school, so you're well on your way. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Davidson, and he's going to present to you, and then we may have a couple minutes to ask some questions. So go ahead, Mr. Davidson.
Thank you, Dr. Zalita. I appreciate it. Thanks, everyone, for coming in today. Really, the reason we're here is so that we can share information so that you can roll into freshman year as smoothly as possible. It is a little different at the high school than it is in the middle school, but the more you know, the easier that transition is. So I'm Mr. Davidson. I'm the principal of the freshmen up here at Danbury High School. I have some counselors on here, too. I have Mrs. Ondeck, Ms. Burford Isaac, and Ms. Rodriguez, and I believe Ms. Carlson is here, too. So our goals for today, I want to talk a little bit about what the Freshman Academy even is, registration information, how do you pick classes so that you're ready for next year, what supports we offer, what extensions we offer, and then what's next in the process for you as an 8th grader. So throughout my presentation, I have a little QR code. If you wanted to scan it and type in a question on your phone or your device, feel free to do so. If you want to just give your teacher your question, they can put it in the chat, or if later on you decide you want to email me, feel free and I can get back to you that way. So our Freshman Academy is in place to help ease that transition from 8th to 9th grade. It's a program specifically for 9th graders. We have a teamed approach. We have 8 teams in our Freshman Academy. Students are split up on a team for their core classes. So you may be on teams 1 through 8. You can take honors or college prep classes on those 8 teams. And the reason we do that is to allow our teachers common planning time so that they can talk about you, so they can figure out how best to teach you as students, because they all have you in class and they share ideas as to how you learn the best and what's the best for you in each one of their classes. We have 3 counselors. Our counselors are split up between those 8 different teams. So everyone on team 2, for instance, has the same counselor. Team 8 has the same counselor. We have some supports that are only offered to freshmen. Nobody else can get these supports, just freshmen in their 9th grade year. We have a brand new building that is a couple years old now. We put it up in the 18-19 school year. And for the most part, it's all for freshmen. We have 26 classrooms. If you do the math, we have 8 teams of 4 teachers. So we have more freshman classrooms than we have rooms in the new building. But each of our teams has 3 classes in the new building and 1 class out. So 3/4 of your core classes will be in the brand new building. It has a gym, locker room. It's air conditioned, which is really, really awesome at the beginning of the year and the end of the year. You'll appreciate that. It's called our G building. So if you hear anyone talk about G2, G3, that's our G building. So that's what it looks like. You can see a little half gym. That's where wrestling's set up now and cheerleading. We also have gym classes down there, the other blocks of the day. The science lab up on the top left, the pretty cool science labs. So it's kind of state of the art for the rest of Danbury High School, not to knock the rest, but it's really nice over there. So we try to take care of our freshmen. So when you get here, please try to take care of it as well, because the nicer we keep it, the better it is for us to enjoy together. The major difference between middle school and high school is our graduation requirements. If you're in middle school and you don't do so well in a class, you may move on the next year. So let's say you're taking 7th grade English and you don't do so hot. You're probably going to move on and take 8th grade English next year. At Danbury High School, it doesn't work that way. If you don't pass English 1, you have to take English 1 next year. If you don't pass English 1 next year, you have to take it again junior year. The whole point of our graduation requirements is you have to earn those 25 credits that are on the screen in order to graduate. If you have 29 credits when you're done, but you never took health, guess what? You can't graduate. You have to check off those individual boxes: 4 English, 2.5 social studies, 1 fine art, 1.5 humanities, all the way down the line. And as you satisfy those graduation requirements, those all add up and you're ready to graduate. You become a senior. So you have some choices to make freshman year, but not a whole ton of choices. We kind of make it a little easier for you so you don't have to really search the whole course of study guide. The choices you'll have to make, first off, is what you want to do in English and social studies and what you want to do in math and science. So if you choose you want to take honors English and social studies, you have to choose the same for both. So you choose honors English, honors social studies. You do the same thing for math and science. You could do college prep in the first two, honors in the next two. That's totally fine, but you can't do college prep in English and honors in social studies. Those two have to be the same for scheduling purposes. So what's the difference between college prep and honors? Well, I like to tell students that in college prep, you're going to learn all the skills necessary, all the content necessary to go on to be successful in college. When you graduate, if you take all college prep courses, you'll be ready for college. Honors, you're going to learn the same stuff, but the teachers are going to ask you to kind of take a little more ownership of your learning. You're going to go a little deeper. You're going to go a little further into the content, and you're going to have a heavier workload outside of class. So in college prep classes, you're going to do more of that work in class with your teacher and with your peers, whereas honors, they're going to ask you to take some ownership of that outside, a little more ownership outside of the classroom too. So if you feel you're organized, you never have a problem getting your homework done, never have late assignments, you don't mind working on your own without someone telling you, hey, it's time to do your English paper, then all four honors, go for it. If you're not sure about it, that's okay too. We allow you to make changes the first 2 weeks of school. So if you chose honors and you get to class in September and you say, man, that was a bad decision, I'm not quite ready for that, you can make a change. But give it your best guess right now, because that allows us to schedule the right number of sections. So talk to your teachers. They know the difference between college prep and honors. Talk to your counselors. They know the difference. If you have a question for me, I can certainly try to help steer you in the right direction. But put some thought into that and see what's the best placement for you, honors or college prep. But know that it's not set in stone. You can change it when you get to the high school. The next thing you have to choose after you choose your core classes is you get to choose electives. Those are kind of like specials. So we allow you to, after you take English, math, science, social studies, we let you take some electives too. And we have a whole bunch of electives. I personally feel this is the greatest strength of Danbury High School, is the amount of courses in all these different areas you can take. You can take elective courses in Air Force ROTC, business, family consumer science, art, music, and there's full year courses, there's half year courses, and you can piece them together to fit your schedule, depending on what else you want to take, right? So it doesn't make sense to try to take 4 credits worth of art because you don't have that much room in your schedule. But if you want to take a little bit of art, a little bit of music, some family consumer science, just build your schedule the way you'd like it to be, and we do our best to satisfy those requests. So what you'll do is you'll choose the classes you want to take, and then our computer system will decide if it fits your schedule and if it kind of works for the overall schedule, and then you'll see your schedule in August when we build them. You can also take science electives, technology education electives, theater arts, and world language is an elective, but it's also a graduation requirement. So we require you to take 2 years of world language, and we recommend you start it in 9th grade just because it's easier to get it out of the way early. I don't mean get it out of the way, but it's easier to fulfill those requirements early so that you can take some other electives when you become a junior and a senior, and you have more of an idea as to what area you want to focus on before you go to college. But we have a whole bunch of electives. If you have questions about those electives, those are all in our course of study guide that I'll talk about in a second. I have a sample freshman schedule here. We are on an A-B block schedule. So on A day, you go to your classes. B day, you go to a whole different set of classes. And then the next A day, you're back to that first group again. So if you can see, like, the orange classes are all the same on A days, and the blue classes are all the same on B days. And then that rotates over the following week. So on one week, you'll have 3 A days, 2 B days, and it's the opposite when you get to the next week too. We used to have a skinny period that met all 4 or all 5 days. We don't have that anymore, luckily. We actually have a true A-B block. You'll notice this weird little thing called flex in the middle, and flex is really cool. Flex is kind of like team enrichment time in the middle schools. We allow students during their homeroom time to schedule whatever they need during flex for the rest of the week. So if I'm a student and I say, you know what, Thursday I have a math test, and Friday I really want to start working on my English essay because that's due next week. When I schedule my flex, Wednesday I'm probably going to schedule a review session with that math teacher so that I'm ready for the math test. And maybe on Friday I schedule my flex time with the English teacher so that I can make sure I'm on the right track with my essay. You can tailor your flex schedule however you want it. You have to take something and you have to fill that week, but you can take it to fit your needs. If you don't have anything coming up and your grades are really good, we have some fun electives you can do. We had a Ninja Warrior course set up by Mr. Asconi in the gym, so you can run down and do the Ninja Warrior course. We've had, I do a Sodexo group where you meet with the school lunch personnel and give them recommendations. They bring in Campbell's soup, and they bring in General Mills, and they let us taste test different things to decide if we want to have them in the cafeteria in the future. We used to do tire change Tuesday, so you could go to the auto shop and learn how to change your tires. You ever had a flat tire out on the road when you drive? So there's a lot of choices, and really you can build that flex time however you want it to look, so long as you're passing all your classes. If you're not passing all your classes, your teachers are going to schedule you for a particular flex because your grades are not where they need to be, and that's a good intervention for you as a student. So that's kind of a sample of what our schedule is going to look like with electives, with our core courses, and with flex. All of the courses I talked about are in our course of study guide. So if you go to our website and you drop down on students, go to course guide, and we have English, Spanish, Portuguese versions of those. So you can get an idea as to what those courses are all about, so that when we open up the scheduling system, you're ready to make an informed decision about what to take. Online registration, it looks exactly the same as it has for the past couple of years. You guys should be pros in this by now. You're going to log into PowerSchool. You're going to click on class registration, and then you're going to click on these little pencils and decide what you want for your 4 core classes. And when you're in there, and this is something we're changing up a little bit, we're going to let you pick these, and then later on in the registration process, we're going to come down and just talk to you about those choices that you made. If you have, honors class, we're going to make sure you're really on board with honors. We're going to make sure you chose the right classes in there. It didn't choose one semester of one semester of another. So we will be at the middle schools later in March to help you with those, but you'll have time before that to fill those in and get an idea as to what you want to take. You're going to repeat the same steps for all of those electives that are kind of like your specials. And then you'll have your schedule requested. Like I said, it's not guaranteed you're going to get those classes, but we usually do a pretty good job of getting everybody the classes they want. One of the things that people always ask me is, what do you do if I struggle? Like, what supports do you offer if I'm not doing really well at Danbury High School? And we have a whole bunch of them. We have a Read 180 program that we schedule students who need some additional assistance in reading and writing. So that's an additional English class in their schedule. We have flex time that I talked about. If you're not doing well, your teachers are going to schedule you during flex time. We have a directed study hall that's up in my office. So if you don't want to see me every day, you have to have your grades, in a good spot where you don't need to come up and be in my directed study hall, where I'm always out there making sure you're doing your work. We have after school tutoring program where we have teachers, staff to help you. We have English, math, science, social studies, and Spanish teachers to help you get your homework done, or if you have questions on something, and those run 2 days a week. We have a Twilight program that allows you to regain credit for the first semester before you don't move on to sophomore year on time. So if you don't do well when you get here, and some people don't, we give you an opportunity to get caught up before you go to sophomore year, because those students that move to sophomore year on time are 4 times more likely to graduate high school. So that's our goal: get everybody the 6 credits they need from that line of 25 credits. After you get 6, you can officially be a sophomore after your freshman year. If you have 5.5, guess what? You're still a freshman technically. And that makes you 4 times less likely to graduate high school. So it's really important that you get here and you focus and you do a really good job and hit the ground running in high school. We also have an SRBI intervention process that your teachers will put in place to help you if you're struggling at all. If you come here and you know what, I don't need your help, Mr. Davidson. I don't need your study hall. I don't really need any help in flex. I'm doing really well. Then what do we offer you? We have 26 advanced placement courses. Freshmen we only offer 1. You can take AP Computer Science Principles, but when you get to be sophomore, juniors, and seniors, there's 26 AP classes you can take. 21% of our kids do take AP classes. 53% of our minority students take advantage of it. And those AP courses, when you take them and you score a 3, 4, or 5, depending which college you're going to, you can transfer those for college credits. So you can send those scores to your college, and before you even step foot on a college campus, you could have college credits already for the work you did in high school. So that's a really good head start, and it really helps your parents by paying for some of those credits, in high school before you even have to get to college. Flex, we have extensions like I talked about. We have honor societies in just about every area. So if you're interested in something and you want to pursue that further than just in the classroom, you can join one of those honor societies. We have summer courses if you decide, you know what, I want to get a head start. I don't want to take Algebra 2 my sophomore year. I want to take it over the summer, so I'm ready for geometry my sophomore year. You can have that opportunity too. We have tons and tons of athletics. We have a freshman team for just about every athletic team on campus. So we have freshman football, basketball, softball, lacrosse. If you're more advanced than the freshman team, you can play junior varsity, you can play varsity. But the real thing about athletics is if you don't have a high enough GPA, they won't let you play. So you have to pass your classes. You have to maintain a 70 average or you can't participate in athletics. So I recommend that everybody gets involved in some capacity, and athletics is a great way to get involved. But if you don't focus on your grades and your grades aren't right, then you can't participate in a lot of the things, the fun things, the extension things that we have at Danbury High. We allow most people to be part of clubs. We have a club pretty much for everything up here. We have a whole list of them that we'll share with you freshman year with their advisors when they meet, so you can get more and more involved with the community here. I always tell students, be more than just a student. Don't come here just to take classes, to take English, math, science, social studies. Don't just come here to get a grade. Be more involved in Danbury High School. Join a club, join a sport. Be a part of something that's bigger than just the classroom. And that's my challenge to all of you. Come here and find out all that we have to offer and be a part of it as much as you can. So our schedule coming up, we're kind of checking off the first thing. This week we're with you guys. Next week we're with Broadview, or we were with Westside last week. 3/7, we'll send out some information. That's a really important day. That's when I share the same information with your parents. Now, back before the pandemic, we used to bring you in for tours, and you got to meet the club advisors and the coaches and kind of get a feel for what Danbury High is all about. We will have those virtually, but it's not absolutely the same as it would be in person. We'll do it virtually. After my presentation's over, the registration window's open, so you can pick your classes. In March, we're going to come back down to the middle schools to check those course requests to make sure that you filled them all out correctly, answer any questions you may have, and make sure that our schedule is going to build as productively as possible, given those requests. After that, I talk to the private and parochial schools, and then on 4/1, we close that window and we try to figure out what teachers we need to schedule where, and then we start building schedules from that point on. I'm going to leave this up while I answer questions. So if you have any questions, you don't want to answer it or ask it in the chat or through my form that I have here, you can send me an email. I have no problem with that. I'll answer it as soon as I can. So some questions we have: can you choose individual classes for honors? You can definitely choose individual classes for honors. You just have to make sure your English and social studies are the same level and your math and science are the same level. Another question: are there any special classes like AP classes? Yes, we have a whole bunch of them, but only one's open to freshmen. That's AP Computer Science Principles. So if you're interested in programming, that's a really good place to start on your AP career. How do you join an honor society? Those are going to be in our announcements and posted all over the building. Most of them are choice except National Honor Society. There are certain requirements you have to meet to join the National Honor Society, but you'll get a letter saying, congratulations, you qualified. If you're interested to join the National Honor Society, and here's the process for that. Is there a way to skip a grade? Yes and no. So the grades at Danbury High School are kind of done by credits. So if somehow you manage to take a whole bunch of summer classes and go from 6 to 18 credits, you could technically skip your sophomore year, but doesn't really happen. That's a pretty busy summer for you. Honor Society, I answered that one. Since it's a big school, what would happen if we get lost? That's an excellent question. I promise you it's going to happen to most of you your first week. And that's okay. Our teachers understand that. Do your best. Try to get where you're supposed to go. If you're lost, ask for help. Ask another student, or find an adult in the building and say, look, I don't know where the heck I'm going. Can you help me get to G building? And they'll get you there. Our teachers are really, really understanding the first week or so of school. They won't mark you too late. My cousin is in the college program. I think you're probably talking about our DECO program. And our DECO program, the last year we offered it was to this year's freshmen. But in the future, we're going to have some academies. So you're going to be able to choose an academy in the future. And your classes are kind of going to be tailored to that academy. And you're going to come out with a certification in one of those areas. But we'll talk about that when it's time to pick. Just know this year you're coming to Danbury High School and you have to choose which courses you want. And that's your first step. Are we doing tours? I really, really hope so. I'm pushing really hard to get some tours. They're not going to be like the big group like we had, but but last year they let me do tours. So I'm optimistic they're going to let me do tours again. So keep a lookout. I will send your counselors information about those tours. We'll send out robocalls so that everyone's ready to hit those when they pop out. What happens if you skip classes? Excellent question. We have a discipline code. The first time you skip a class, you get a detention from the teacher. The second time, you got to come and talk to me, and you'll probably end up in-school suspension. If it becomes a habitual problem, then we have to talk about changing your program because something's going on. We have to help you. It could be we change your schedule. We put some additional supports in place. We could even change where you go to school if it becomes a major issue. So skipping classes from a discipline standpoint is not something you want to do, but from an academic standpoint, you're missing all the stuff you're supposed to be learning if you skip class to sit in the cafeteria and talk to your friends. So now your grade goes down because you didn't do that essay. You're not going to do well on that test because you didn't learn what the teacher was teaching. And it's just awkward walking back in after you skipped a class. So my recommendation, go to all your classes, enjoy your time in the cafeteria, but go to the cafeteria when it's your time to go to the cafeteria. As a freshman, are we going to be in all different types of buildings? The majority of your classes are going to be in G building, which is the one I showed you. That's where predominantly our freshmen go, but not all your classes will be there. So in your 4 core classes, 3 will be in the new building, in G building, and 1 will be somewhere else. It could be in a science building, like in the C building. It could be up in D building, like that's like the main building in the middle. And your elective classes could be elsewhere too. So those specials like gym, obviously, could be in our main gym. Your engineering class is not going to be in the freshman building. So yeah, your classes are going to be all over the place, but the majority of them for freshmen are in the freshman building. How long do you have to get? You get 6 minutes from the bell to get to your next class. You can get anywhere in this place in 6 minutes, but if you stop and talk to your friends, it's a little bit harder.
Thank you, Mr. Davidson. We're going to have to cut the questions
right.
short.
So I'm going to email those people back with these questions so I can answer them. Thank you all for your time today, and I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Have a great day.